All right, really quick before we get started here, I just want to note let's not bully or harass anybody mentioned in this live stream or the video that's later going up, not in the chat or the comments. Don't go to these people's pages and harass them there. Just don't. Just don't do it. Okay? All right. Now we're going to be talking about some legal stuff today. I'm not a lawyer. I am going to be citing a few things from some lawyers, but I myself am not a lawyer. I'm just a person with an opinion. And as such, thoughts, feelings, and opinions expressed on this channel are solely my own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Nothing more, nothing less. We're just here to have some fun, maybe speculate about a couple things, but again, I'm not an expert. So, hello, lovely people of the internet. Oops, save that for later. Tis I, Ophelia Hartwig, aka Savage Minnow. Ooh, it's doing the any outie thing again. Okay. Better, better or worse? Better or worse? Let me know. That's better. I'm hoping so. Um, sorry, I was doing some other stuff on another channel before, so I did have to change my mic settings. Okay, better you think? Good deal. I'll try and talk directly into it. So today we are going to be talking about the second part of the duo that was the non sequitur show, along with Kyle Curtis. It was Steve McRae, and we're going to be cool. So we're mostly going to be talking about him. I do want to start off right off the top, giving a trigger warning. We're going to be talking about domestic assault, and then later on, assault of a, so shall we say, a sexual nature. I'm not going to use additional language here, but if that's something that you might find triggering, that's absolutely valid. And if you need to not watch this, like that does not make you any less of a person in any way, shape, or form. I completely understand if you have to dip out, and I'll see you in the next one. Like no hard feelings. Um, yes, Pugnacious. This is the other older dude, um, of the two. He is, I believe he's 51 years old. I wasn't able to find an exact date of birth on him, but that was as close as I could find. Also, I have in my notes that if you're somebody who's already down typing in the comments about how trigger warnings are for pussies, you can go fuck yourself because PTSD is real and go read a book and educate yourself. So, just getting that out of the way. Okay, quick little update from last time about the assault arrest in Kyle Curtis before we get into that. Um, it was indeed an assault. Not only that, but it was a domestic assault. And Kyle was actually caught on tape striking his partner several times. I'm going to be linking an unlisted video of that in the YouTube description, but don't watch it if that's something that you're going to find triggering because it's literally something that like I'm not going to show on screen. Frankly, I think it probably like violates like Twitch terms of service. Like it's I'm not going to go into it, but if you want to see it for your own eyes, yes, it is true, and I'm going to have it linked in the YouTube description. I need to make a note about that. I'm trying to do better about like actually making computer notes as opposed to just like paper notes so that I don't have like 15,000 pieces of paper floating around, but I don't know if it's better or not. I don't know. We're finding out. Um also, yeah, I just want to like go ahead and put this information up here for a little bit. It's a 24-hour national domestic violence hotline. If you need help, if you need to get into a safe place, 1-800-799-SAFE, or there's also a text number if you're in a situation where you can't make a phone call. You can only text. Um, there's the number. for that. And I'm just going to leave that up for a couple of minutes just in case anybody needs it. Hopefully nobody does, but just in case. And I should find one for Canada. If I can find one for Canada, I'll put it in the YouTube description. Um, as for Kyle, my understanding is that he did initially make bail on that offense, but then I think he was transferred to the other county that he had the arrest warrant for a failure to appear or contempt or something. So he is, as far as I understand, still in jail. My hope is that both he and his partner have access to some type of counseling and that he spends this time thinking about what he's going to do to get his life back on track. As for all the people that I talk about on my channel, I do sincerely wish that they get their lives on track and take responsibility for their actions, however that may be. And if that includes prison time, so be it. Again, that's why I'm glad that this is being handed over to an impartial court to hopefully decide. So, yeah. Okay. So now we're moving on to the main discussion for today, which is Steve. Take this off of here. And this one. Here we go. And we'll see how we get like from here to I do also have this one on here, but we'll put that one on hold for now. We're just gonna like leave Steve sitting over here doing his thing. Now, I do also want to give a shout out and a big thanks to MathPig and Fabio, who were both just like really great about just like pointing me in the right direction and um like impartially showing me, hey, here's resources here and so on and so forth. And I that was kind of one of the reasons why I went to MathPig when I was kind of wanting to get more information about this, was because I knew that he would kind of shoot it to me straight, without really prejudice for anybody. He'll shit talk everybody equally. He'll probably shit talk me too. It's fine. If I deserve it, it's good, right? So big thanks to them. Yeah, even though, yeah. Matt Pig did a show last night that was, if you are interested in seeing somebody try really hard to like beat their head against a wall and listen to somebody who is just talking in circles, that was an interesting one last night. But like maybe like smoke a bowl or get a drink or something before you watch it, because otherwise you'll end up being like really mad. But on to Steve. As I said, I wasn't able to find an exact birth date on him. I think he's 51 years old, residing in the state of California. He's also a military veteran. And I've heard that like confirmed in several cases. And I have like this distant memory in the back of my head that I feel like he's a Navy veteran, but don't quote me on that because I could be completely wrong. It could be a completely different branch of the military altogether. Um, if you know more about that, like please feel free to correct me, leave more information in the comments. So long as it's done in a nice way, that is always welcome. Any discord in the comments is always welcome. I believe that he's divorced, and I've heard him mention that he has one daughter. If you don't know who he is by like the picture here, he is, well, he runs a couple of YouTube channels, and actually I should probably go ahead and link those as well. You know, just in being non-partial or impartial. I can't type. Um, Now I do want to be really clear because again, I feel like I'm going to get accused of like taking sides and shit. Um, I went into this deep dive to find out for myself. Okay. Like I wanted to know what really happened because I realized that having been friends with Jimmy, I was only taking Jimmy's word for everything. And Jimmy was very dismissive of it. So I was always just like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. No big deal. But I wanted to know. And I went directly to Steve. As I mentioned before, Steve commented on one of my videos. I responded to him in the comments, followed up on Twitter. We had a little bit of back and forth on Twitter. And like I said, he just stopped responding to me. um, Pretty much once I made it clear that I wasn't just like gonna take his answers at face value, that I like actually wanted like more information on that, like actual dates and stuff like that, he just stopped responding to me. I have in my notes now. My grandmother always said, if you've got praise for me, say it to your friends. But if you've got criticism for me, say it to my face. And Steve, if you would respond to your messages, I would say it to your face. But you weren't. So I'm saying it to you publicly. And, since you're the king of calling out bullshit or whatever, that's what we're doing here. So yeah, you might have a different definition of what deserves to be called out. So we will be discussing that later, but this is what I feel like needs to be called out. I'm also reaching out to people who have continued to work with Steve and support Steve. I think you might know who I'm talking about. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you, do you still support him? I can't answer that question for you, but I want to know if you do still support him, why? I really want to know why. So, getting back to like what we talked about last week, under this first thumbtack, we put the great debate community, right? I think it was under the blue one. So we're going to go ahead and pull that one out now. I can find it on here. There it is. Okay. And we're just going to talk about the great debate community. Now, the great debate community was not Steve's first channel. In fact, as far as I understand, his first channel is the one that was actually just called Steve McRae that he still runs now. When I go back and like look at the timeline, his channel goes back 2 years before the Great Debate Community. And the idea with the Great Debate Community channel was that there was just this Google Hangout that basically had open access to all these different people. And if they had some type of debate that they were having on Twitter or whatever, and they wanted to like jump over on video and talk about it, that they could use what he referred to as public access to the channel. Now, it wasn't actually public access, but that's neither here nor there, to like basically hash out their debates, is what I gathered from watching like the early videos of that channel, is like what they were trying to do. So basically, if they were other people who were kind of in the community or whatever were having a debate on Twitter, they couldn't decide whether to have it on so-and-so's channel or so-and-so's channel. I think Steve mentioned he was like that flat earther and I didn't want to have his content on my channel and be supporting him on my channel. So I made this channel, the Great Debate Community, for everyone to come in. Y'all can have access to it. You come here, hash it out, and I get all of the monetization, all of the Patreon links go to me, all of that shit, right? You see where I'm going with this? Now, you might be saying, okay, well, it was his idea, so maybe he deserves the revenue for it. But here's the kicker. You ready for this one? It wasn't his idea. There was already a channel with the name, the Great Debate Community, before Steve's ever existed. And again, you might be saying, okay, well, it had the same name, the Great Debate Community. And some of you may know that like a little while back, I went through a thing where I had to like prove to somebody that like I was Red Person for like years, because like when my channel started, I didn't really get any views. But then like once my channel started to get views, it apparently like alerted this person who'd been using the same name, and they just saw me and like assumed that I was new, and they like sent me this like cease and desist. And I was like, you don't understand. That's my name. Like I am Red. And he was like, oh, okay. But no, that's not what happened with the Great Debate Community. It was not like that. Like the original Great Debate Community was the same concept, everything. Steve just like completely co-opted the idea, the name, and everything for himself. Sorry, Steve. I gotta call you out on it. So again, moving on, Steve's Great Debate Community was started in 2017, a few months before Non Sequitur Show was started. And there were some of the characters who might eventually end up showing up on the Non Sequitur Show, but it was more informal. It wasn't, and I think that in a lot of ways, it was used, not wrongly, but it was used kind of as a way to like feel people out before bringing them onto the Non Sequitur Show. So within a few months, him and Kyle got together and they had this verbal agreement for a partnership that they ended up calling the Non Sequitur Show. Now, does this have dates on it? I think it ever did end up having dates on it. Yeah, it's all blank. Okay, we'll get back to this in a minute then. I printed shit out. So I was only able to find the one business filing on the actual partnership itself. And I can't, like, I literally can't find any dates on it. You'll see some of this is literally just like left blank. And I do have a link down below for North Carolina business courts, whereas this says like Los Angeles County Registrar, Recorder, County Clerk, but it was actually filed in North Carolina. You can find that in the links on YouTube. You do have to fill out the form to like say like Curtis versus McRae, and then I think it's like line like 22 or something like that you can find these documents. And there's some weird shit on these documents. And if you are interested and if you know more about this and you want to like go find out more information, again, I'm not an attorney. I'm just like looking at this and it's just like curiouser and curiouser to me because, okay, now I want to start out by saying the one document is called the fictitious business name statement. That does not mean that it is a fictitious business or that the name is fictitious in any way. It just means that you are registering that name. I don't know why they use the word fictitious because basically you register the name before you start the business. And in a lot of cases, you need to have the name registered before you can do any of the other shit on it. So like, this is just like the start of a thing. Okay. Like that is all. Now, here's another thing that it's like weird that I have a little bit of personal experience on this because I also, at one point in my life, started a business as a partnership with another person and had another person's name on this piece of paper, right? It was me and another person. And down the road, I turned it into an LLC, just me. And I never had to like remove their name from that piece of paper. It wasn't like I had to like refile it or anything like that. It was just like, it didn't count when I could show like all of like the records for like where the money came from and where the money went and all the accounts and everything. It just didn't matter, right? It wasn't like she was entitled to 50% of my business or anything down the road. But apparently at some point, somebody tried to file one of these, declaring it a partnership. Now, again, this other stuff is like, a lot of it is freaking blank. And you can tell from the lines, like it was a scanned in document. And there's no signatures and no dates on any of this. So I don't know when it was from. And here's another like weird thing about it that it was just like piqued my interest, was confusing to me. Under Kyle Curtis's address, again, this is to be filed in California, but it was filed in where I found it was it being filed in North Carolina. So I'm guessing Steve turned it over and was like, see, here it is, or whatever. Or maybe Kyle did. I don't know. Non Sequitur Media, Kyle Russell Curtis, and then it has his address, the address that I do have from another court document. Thank you for the follow, Lunar Sweden. And then it says Pleasant Garden, California, and then the zip code is in North Carolina zip code. Pleasant Garden is the name of the city that my understanding was that he did live in North Carolina. So I don't know what's up with that. If that was a typo, but it's literally in two different places on two different forms. Pleasant Garden, California, and then a North Carolina zip code. I don't know. These are public records. You can go look them up for yourself. Let me know what you think. But like on the top of this, even where it says like the name of the business, it says Los Angeles, California, but then Pleasant Garden, North Carolina. It says both. I don't know what's up with that. Again, maybe it's just a typo. It just seemed weird to me. So I'm going to try and quickly explain like the breakdown of like where the money went and why Kyle was holding the money, because everybody agrees that Kyle was holding the money, that Steve had asked Kyle to hold the money, right? Steve asked Kyle hold the money. Oh, you know what? Something that I didn't put in my outline was when I looked up pictures for Steve McRae, I also found pictures of this other Steve McRae who's a ballet dancer. And like, I do just want to like throw these in here because like this shit's impressive. Also, he's a ginger. So like, I always like praising a ginger. Like, how impressive is that? How impressive is that? Other Steve McRae? This one should be other Steve McRae. This should be like cool Steve McRae. Cool ballet dancer Steve McRae. Sorry, I didn't have that in my outline and I didn't know where I was going to throw it in, but like, I just had those pictures. So like, I felt the need to share them. Okay, so everybody agreed. Steve said to Kyle, hold the money till the end of the year. And it had to do with his income and healthcare and how much income he was allowed to have for healthcare. Now, there was some speculation that it had to do with VA benefits. I don't believe that's the case because as far as I understand, like VA benefits are for life and that has nothing to do with your income, like whatsoever. Like it's not contingent upon having a low income. But one thing that is contingent upon having a low income is a program that's known as Medi-Cal. Now, Steve has said in a couple of different instances that he was at the time on Medi-Cal, which is a program in California. It is for people like who are on disability and stuff, but as far as I understand, he's not on disability. And the other way that you can get this particular type of benefits is by being lower income. Now, I don't want to say anything like disparaging about people who are of a lower income. Like that is absolutely valid. And I don't want to say that like anybody was like faking um, needing these types of benefits or anything like that. Um, but I'm just going to give you the information that I have about the services that are known as Medi-Cal. So it's similar to like Medicare, Medicaid, but those are national programs, whereas Medi-Cal is specifically for California residents. Um, and at the time, Steve did say that he wasn't receiving any veterans benefits and had not been receiving any medical veterans benefits for, I believe he said, over a decade at that point in time. So that was my understanding that he was getting Medi-Cal benefits. And my understanding was that he would then be qualifying as a low income individual. And that would be why he would want Kyle to hold that until the end of the year, because that way he could say for the whole year, hey, I don't have any income, don't have any income. And then the fourth quarter, if he did have income, then it would be on just that quarter alone. It wouldn't be on the whole year. Subitaneous said, vet here, disability is revoked if you have the same type of exam that you had to get the rating and they determine you've improved. Okay. There is a permanent and total, but it's rare. So to be honest, and if you are disabled from the VA, you get coverage from the VA. Okay. So my understanding was at that point in time, he was not receiving benefits from the VA and he wanted Kyle to hold the money, and that would make sense. I'm not saying that this is why, but if he wanted to hold the money until the end of the year so that he didn't have to report that income until December or whatever, then he would still be getting Medi-Cal benefits up until the end of the year. Now, some might consider that to be fraud if it was income that technically he should have been getting throughout the year. And based on the amount that he has said in this court case that their partnership was receiving, and if you divide that by 2, he should be, let's see, I think the cutoff for a single person to be receiving benefits based on their income, and again, I don't know necessarily that it is based on his income, but that is the most likely reason why he would be receiving these benefits as far as I can understand. Again, I'm going to have it linked on YouTube and you can like click on it and see like how can you get benefits? Like how do you qualify? But if it is for income, basically it's less than like 1,800 per person. So for him to be making the amount of money that he claims the partnership was making and then like him receiving half of that and still be receiving benefits, he would have to be the sole provider for a household of at least 4 adults. Again, I don't know. It might be him, maybe it was his wife and his daughter at the time, and then maybe there was a 4th person in the household. I don't know. But presumably by doing this, he was able to keep his benefits for at least the first 3 quarters of the year, and only claim that income at the end of the year. That is further backed up by statements made by Steve since then, where he stated that he is no longer receiving Medi-Cal benefits and is receiving medical benefits through the VA and not Medi-Cal now. Again, that could have been, he could have misspoke. I don't know. Whether or not he was removed from that program by choice or by force is unclear. And it's unclear as to whether or not he's eligible for those benefits going forward. But my understanding is that he is currently getting VA benefits, and those benefits are not contingent upon his income going forward, which I think is somewhat backed up by what Sabatana is saying as well. Okay. Now, the other thing that I need to talk about, and I just have the words purple titties in my outline, so that's why I was laughing. That's that's these lovely purple titties over here. So Steve has said in multiple live streams since then that he was supposed to get 50% of everything for the shows that they did together, as well as 50% of everything in perpetuity. In perpetuity. In perpetuity. In perpetuity. In perpetuity. In perpetuity. In fact, at one point, Kyle agreed to give him half of everything that the business had done so far if he would just like sign off on everything, we move on, whatever, the channel is Kyle's now. And Steve said, according to some sources, no, I want 50% of everything in perpetuity. In perpetuity. In perpetuity. So many times that the words lost all meaning. And now anytime we hear Steve say the words in perpetuity, this is where our brains go, okay? I'm sorry, but it's just, our brains go to the purple titties. I'm going to take the purple titties off the screen. I feel like, Porgnatius, I literally feel like for the rest of my life, anytime anybody says the words in perpetuity, my brain will go to Steve and the purple titties. So thank you. Even though I'm taking it off the screen now, you'll still be able to trigger the vision in my mind. Fun times. So I feel like that's explaining the purple titties. Now, you may remember that I have a pin in here that relates to Katie Joy Paulson, or channel known as Without a Crystal Ball. We are like 30 minutes in right now. And I don't have a side outline for that one. I just don't have like the mental energy for it this week. So if you want me to pull that pin down next week, let me know and I will try and prioritize it. You can leave little like crystal ball emotes in the chat or in the comments, and I will know that that is a priority for you guys to hear about how that all connects. Um, yes, yes, that without a crystal ball, that one. You might be like, wait, what? What? Because there's so many different places where you might have seen her sticking her toe in, where it, or maybe her nose in, where I don't know if it belongs or not, but um, I I don't even know which community that you're talking about because there's so many different ones. That's yeah, but it will take a while for me to like connect all of those guys together, and I really want to talk about something that's really really important, and it's really really going to take like probably all of the mental energy that I have left for the rest of this stream. Okay. And before I get to that, I want to drop an additional content warning here, like another like really serious one, um, because we're going to be talking about specifically assault of a sexual nature, and apologetics of such assault. And okay, unfortunately, I want this video to like be seen by as many people as possible, so I can't say the word. I'm going to use the word grape. Okay, but please just remove the G from the beginning of the word whenever you hear me talking about it, because I'm not talking about fruit, and I don't want to be like belittling in any way, shape, or form to what these people have been through. Okay, but like, just be forewarned that's what we're going to be talking about for pretty much the rest of the stream. Okay, so this guy that we're going to be talking about, I think I've got. Yeah, here we go. Um, let's see. This guy. This is a picture from 1986. This is a friend of Steve's, somebody that Steve has come out in defense of on several occasions via Twitter and discussing in live streams. This that I'm going to put on screen is what he was convicted of. Again, the date on that is 1986. I also have a picture of what he looks like now. Steve has called this man on several occasions an honorable person. Again, this person. Steve has said that this man's victims were not victims, but willing participants. They were not. They were victims. Steve has said that this man's conviction was just based on Romeo and Juliet laws. Again, no, they weren't. That is not the case. He is a serial rapist. Before Earl David Warren was arrested or even suspected, there were 4 victims who came forward to the police. Again, this was in 1986 at a time when women were not believed. So the bravery of these 4 women to come forward knowing that they were probably going to be asked things like, what were you wearing? Did you like it? And shit like that. It just speaks to their monumental amount of bravery. Okay. These women are not to be disregarded. I will not go into the specifics of the actual assault, but I will tell you that it was brutal. He used his position as a security officer, his security lights on his security card, to stop these women who assumed by his security uniform that he was a person of authority. Once he had them stopped in a vulnerable position, he used his gun, his body, and his ability to terrorize these women to get off. It is absolutely sickening. Again, I will drop links on YouTube. If you would like to know the specifics of this, I will not be saying any more than that on here. Now, like I said, this was in 1986 when at the time it was common practice for police to take these types of cases that were really 4 different cases and basically just like compile them into one case. Steve has used the fact that it is one case to say, oh, it was his girlfriend, Romeo and Juliet laws, but no. In fact, the victim that this conviction designates was a 21-year-old woman. This was one of 4. Okay, their ages are irrelevant. The reason the others were not also turned into a conviction was because they put all of their resources at that time in 1986. They would put all of their resources into one case, so they only had to bring one victim to testify on the stand. They only had to basically have one witness, like have to relive all of that trauma, one victim. The idea was at that time that they were like basically saving those victims from going through the trauma. I think now we have more of an understanding of like for a lot of victims, it is more of a catharsis to be able to face their accusers. That's not always the case, but I think at the time it was very much considered that you didn't want to put rape victims on the stand if you didn't have to. Now I think it's more up to the victim whether or not they want to do that. But at the time, they believed that they were saving those other 3 victims from going through the trauma of reliving all of that. And they went with their strongest of the 4 court cases to convict him and call it a day. That was why he was only convicted at that time of raping one woman. As we know, rape does not carry a life sentence, and that is why he was out of prison in 2002 for when he is said to have abused a child in a similar way. Now, these are all allegations. I don't have any more information on that besides them being allegations. Again, I'll put links in the YouTube description. But he's currently awaiting trial after being apprehended near the Texas-Mexico border in 2019 after like getting a tip off for something that he was being investigated for back in 2017. Got a tip off that they were looking for him for that. Yeah. So fingers crossed, maybe he's going to be spending the rest of his life behind bars. I don't know. But as far as I know, Steve has not said anything to recant his support of this man and has simply just doubled down on his support of this guy, this honorable guy. It's disgusting. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to check out the sources. I'm going to try and get them all listed in the YouTube here pretty shortly. I've got to get all of this downloaded, and I was actually going to try and hit the record button so I had an actual recording on it, but I'm going to have to download it again because I got sidetracked, ADHD brain. But I will try and get all of the sources. But I come back to my question that I had at the top of this for those who are supporters of Steve. Are you still supporting him? With him supporting this guy? Saying he's an honorable guy? Is that still somebody that you like want to back? If so, let me know. And let me know why. It doesn't have to be in the comments. You can email me. You guys know I've been going through shit. So I apologize that I have been a little bit slow on responding to the emails. And my merch is like really slow on the updating. My Nana passed away and I've just been like dealing with stuff with her estate and everything. So just keep that all in mind. But if you are wanting merch, that's all like fulfilled by a third party. So you don't need to like wait for me to like ship it or anything. But yeah, if you want, you can email me and let me know privately. I won't pull your, I won't throw your name up if you don't want people to know publicly. I just want to know. I just want to know, how can you still be supporting him? how can you still be supporting him? I think that was this thumbtack, right? That one. So we'll leave that one up for Katie Joy. I don't know. Like I said, I think that's about all I have the bandwidth for. I appreciate the follows. I appreciate the support. Also, I do want to do a quick shout out to Diana Clarion, the Lavender Lady. Please do go follow her channel if you haven't already. She's going through dialysis right now. She's having some issues paying for transportation and other expenses doing with her treatment. So I'll try and get her PayPal link. Also, I'm gonna make a note about that. Or I guess I'll do her PayPal, and I think there's a GoFundMe. That's what I actually meant to say. But I'll link both. Um, and yeah, if you can help out. If not, don't worry about it. Just like giving her a like and a follow, like seriously, is support. Um, Getting the word out. I selfishly I would like her to live for a very long time. That's completely like a selfish thing because I want her to live a long time. So that's why I'm always shouting her out. But I love her very much. Um, but yeah, you get these guys off the screen. Get off the screen. Get out of here. Let's put this guy back on. The other Steve. Like this leap. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Right? Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions. We're at like right about getting to like an hour on the recording, so I will need to like jump off pretty soon and start downloading to hopefully be able to get it up on YouTube in like fast enough. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Because I should have just like hit record on here and like saved it as a file. That's okay. Lessons learned. That's what I'm going to do for next week. Alrighty. I going to jump over. Let's see. I was going to bring up my, yeah, my subscriber list. And thank all of my subscribers as well as people who have sent me cheer bits and everything. I really appreciate you guys. I need to update this end screen, but these are also some of my monetary supporters, people who bought equipment for the channel, helped me out in some way, either bought merch or whatever, just different, all different, all different ways. So the Cora St. Clair, my lovely Savage Mama, TikTok Bunny, Peapot Fairy, and then I also want to thank my subscribers. I've got Elizabeth 1933 and Subterraneous. And I think going back, I've got cheer bits from Beffernator. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. I really appreciate all of the help. You guys really do keep this channel alive and going. So thank you so much for coming by. And I'm going to jump off for now and go ahead and get this downloaded and get it ready for YouTube. And I shall see you guys next time. I should be back on Thursday. I might even be back for an extra bonus stream tomorrow. We shall see. We shall see. But keep your eyes peeled and hit that follow button so you get notifications here on Twitch. Thanks, guys. Bye bye.